Hello everybody, Andy here from Glass Half Dead, the #1 kill team channel on the internet, unless you are aware of literally any other channel. Okay, today we're doing another gotcha guide, and I'm going to tell you what a gotcha guide is and what a gotcha guide isn't going to give you. Let's get straight into it. We don't want to dilly-dally. I'm doing 36 of these potentially, so let's not dwell. So, what is a gotcha? Gotchas are things that mess with you, not with them. If they buff themselves, that is not a gotcha. In learning a team's gotchas, you are also learning how to play the team. So yes, the title of this video is how to play, because that's what people are going to search when they search for these sorts of things. However, the thumbnail is gotcha guide. In this video, okay, you are going to learn the gotchas of the team, and in learning what a team can do against you and the things you need to look out for if you're actually looking to play that team, you're going to learn the things that you should be trying to do to other people. Quick note on what a gotcha is, of course, it's not a buff. If they are able to give themselves ceaseless or balanced or rending, that's not a gotcha. That's just a thing they can do. It's something that you will have to learn to be aware of, but it doesn't stop you from doing anything you need to do to enact your devious schemes. This is not a basics guide. You should understand the basics of playing kill team. I have of course done a how to play video. I've also done various other like line of sight videos, etc. If you're looking for the basics, this isn't going to be it. And not just the basics in the mechanics, but also kind of the basics in how to play kill team in general, right? You should also know your team. I can't refer to always a horde team, a normal team, an elite team into every team. I'm talking about the team and their gotchas. For you, if you're playing, for example, Deathcore, you need to know what your profile does to a Space Marine, if I'm talking about a Space Marine, or if you're playing an elite team, an Eldar, what does your team and how do they in general deal with a horde team or an elite, a Marine team? Equally, so that's your profiles. You also need to know like the basics of the enemies and how much you care about those. If you're playing Deathcore of Krieg, you need to be very aware of blast. But if you're playing Marines, you don't care about blast at all. You don't even have to ask the opponent, hey, do you have any blast? You don't care. There you go. They can hit multiples of you. That's fine. And how that affects your team. What I'm saying in this guide is we're going to be looking at 5 different things. First, we're going to go over pre-game. This is going to affect your operative and your TAC-op selection. So as you rock up to the table with your opponent, you shake hands, you look them in the eye, you give them a dirty glare. And before you pick your team, here are the things you need to know to pick the operatives and the TAC-ops. Deployment. This is after you've picked. This is going to be things that define where you can move, firstly in deployment, but also going into your plan of turn 1. These will be things like seek light, ignore obscuring, because that will define where you can stand safely. Firefight is everything else. Basically, a gotcha here, we're just looking at things that define your dice maths. There you go. Finally, we have interrupts. Interrupts are things that stop your activation. These are the true things. These are the fight first, the hit twice, all these crazy things stop you from activating, possibly even stop you from tapping a point, etc, etc. If you do like what I'm doing here on this channel in general, in this gotcha guide series, in this particular video, whatever, I do have a Patreon. Firstly, a shout out to all of my patrons. You are genuinely the only reason I am still making videos. If you would like to be somebody that makes me still make videos and, you know, donate to my hydration fund, thank you very much. Check me out on Patreon. I also do things like every week I give a rant on some subject or an update of the channel. And if you don't want to do that, you want to support in another way, I do have affiliate links to Element Games and Whaling Games in the UK. If you're UK based, the way that works, by the way, is you just click on the links below. It costs you nothing extra, and I get like a 2% kickback or something tiny in that, but it all adds up. Okay, with that said, let's get straight into it's the HERNKYN salvages. We're looking straight at a basic stat line here. For a bit of a rare one, I've included their actual ability at the bottom here. I normally don't cut that out because we're not talking about specific things. We're only talking about gotchas. But actually, in the grand scheme of things, their little ability that the warriors get is a little bit of a gotcha, or at least it's something you need to know about. So super basic stat line, 8 wounds, move 5, save 4, and it is a 10 model team. Okay, we don't really care too much about their weapons here. Don't worry, it's kind of what you would expect. But Intrepid. So we're talking about resourceful points in a moment, because that is a little bit of a gotcha. It's arguably one of the best comms abilities in the game. And notice with these guys, if you add 1 to its APL stat, it lasts until the start of its next activation instead. There is a way for this to end up with 6 APL 3 models on the board in turn 3. It probably won't happen, and understand that when these warriors activate, they will immediately lose that, so they won't actually get to make 3 actions that turn, but they will still technically be 3 APL 3 models, or 6 APL 3 models on the board. Right, we get into the pre-game. Here's the things you need to know about when you're picking your team, your TAC ops. So Dauntless Explorers, the whole team is going to immediately make a 4-inch pre-game move. There you go. So they're only a 5-inch move team, but you know what? Whole team's going to move 4 inches. This is huge, and it means that for their turn 1 moves, they can be anywhere they want. Especially now if we think about the fact that, and this is a great change to the game, the heavy barricade is now deployed 4 inches away from your drop zone, whereas it used to be 2, which was terrible. So now you can get 2 or 3 models basically anywhere you want within 4 inches of your drop zone. And then they also have the Ceramide Undersuit, where you get to reroll defense against blast weapons. So if you are thinking about taking blast into this team, I would strongly recommend against it. Yeah, don't do that. Cool. Which takes us to deployment. What do you need to know about them? So we have to talk about the Iron Break model. He gets Minefield. You put down 5 tokens. There are rules to how you place them. Don't worry about them. They're the things you'd expect about placing markers next to other markers. 3 of them are real. 2 of them are not real. Once per turn, you can reset one of these markers. So if you move over a marker, you flip it, well, they can flip it back over in the Strategic Gambit step of the next turn. If you walk over one of these mines, it's going to be 3 damage, and you roll a d6. If that d6 is below your save, you then take that much damage in addition. So if you're a Marine, the most you could take here is 5 damage. But if you're a Krieg, the most you could take is, 3, and you're a 5, 4, 7 damage. And it would kill you. You then also end your activation anytime you walk over a mine, no matter what. And then a Tracker. This is 1 operative. The Tracker has access to Seek Light, and you cannot be obscured when you are within 6 inches from the Tracker, not just as an aura for everyone, it's just for the Tracker specifically. So just be aware of the Seek Light and unobscured within 6. Yeah, there you go. They are going to try and get you with that. Going into the Firefight phase, we have Resourceful. This is their faction ability, okay? This is an untelegraphed comms, so +1 APL or heal. And it's based on the ops remaining. Don't worry about it. They're just going to have some points. It depends on how many there are. They don't get any turn 1, but then in turn 2, because they will have 6+, they will get 2, and then they have their leader, which will be 3. So you should expect them to do this 3 times in turn 2. And if you're lucky and you've done some good killing, 2 times in turn 3. Okay? And basically, when an operative activates, they can say, I give this operative +1 APL. And they can immediately use that APL. So you will be having APL 3 models on this team. So you can expect them to be significantly faster than you expect them to be when they're dwarves with a 5-inch move, and 2 APL, because suddenly they've got 3 APL, so you've got that move dash. There you go. And then you have the Bombast. The Bombast is 1 operative who's super interesting, but my gosh, you don't see it coming. So basically the Bombast can shoot in the strategic phase, and you can flip your order if you needed to do this. So turn 1, you move up, you put yourself in position, potentially as your final move to go within 2 inches of an enemy. You're still concealed, because why not? You know, no need to put yourself out there more than you need to. Turn ends, you go into the Bombast, the Strategic Gambit step. The Bombast can flip its order, take a shot. Crazy. And then if you kill that model, everybody within 2, or every enemy within 2 inches of the model that you kill, you roll a d6, and if you roll above its APL, every model within 2 takes -1 APL. This is such a game changer. Yeah, if you can get some kills with the Bombast, you're going to have a totally fine time. Then they also have tough survivalists. So the first damage any model takes anytime you play this ploy is reduced, well, halved, and that's minimum of to a minimum of 2. You should, sorry, if you're a good Harnkin player, you play this every single turn. This just straight up gives you more wounds. We were looking at a 10 model team with 8 wounds. Really? You're a 10 model team with 10 wounds, okay? You always play tough survivalists. There you go. Be aware of that. That is it's definitely a bit of a gotcha. You don't expect to see it coming, and then suddenly 8 wound models have 10 wounds. And then interrupts, nothing too crazy here. So the Thane, that's their leader. If you kill the Thane, the first time you kill it, it doesn't get removed. It lives on 1 hit point remaining. Now this does mean, of course, that if you're, let's say, a Marine, you can shoot the Thane, and then it lives on 1, and you can shoot it again. So it's not like it's invincible for a turn. You just have to kill them twice. And then there's the Bladekin, who's kind of their specialist melee operative. If you kill the Bladekin, it can hit with the remaining dice that it has in its roll. So it does have to, you know, if the enemy is able to parry you out before it kills you, they should do that. But if they kill you and you still have 3 hits lying around, you can hit with 1 of those. There you go. Right, okay, let's take it to the table, look at a Diabolical player. We're going to be focusing on the coolest model probably, which is the Bombast, and just what it can do. So I just want to show you a potential kind of Hail Mary that the Bombast can perform. You would not expect your opponent to do this turn 1 going into turn 2, but this could happen turn 2 going into turn 3, because this relies purely on them winning the initiative roll, but basically, as mentioned, they're able to shoot 3 times in a row. So quite simply, you're going to move within 2, although you do have a 9-inch range gun, and you're going to take a shot at this guy. This will be the final activation of your turn when you know that the enemy cannot counteract, which, because you're 10 models, is relatively likely in the elite meta, let's be honest. You take your shot, you get a kill. When you kill this model, every enemy within 2 inches of that model rolls a d6, and if you manage to roll higher than their APL, they're -1 APL. So this guy's APL 3, boom, he's now APL 2. This guy was also within 2, APL 2, also rolled a 5. They are both now -1 APL. That's your final activation, the turn ends. We then go into the strategic gambit step, so it doesn't matter if you have won initiative or not. This happens before activations begin. You can shoot again. Exactly the same thing happens. You take a shot at this guy, you get the kill. You would then still technically roll. This time it doesn't go off, but even if you did manage to roll over this guy's APL, don't forget you can never actually be plus or minus more than 1 to your APL, so it wouldn't have a knock-on effect. But if you do win initiative, you then go into your firefight phase and can immediately shoot again. That is 3 shots on the trot. Again, this is a total gamble. If the Hearthkin player is winning, they shouldn't do this. If they are losing and they need a big swing, this is the thing that they will do to you. And if getting an uninterrupted 3 shots on the trot isn't a diabolical play, I don't know what is.